You can hear a little picking going on in the background. That's Jerry Reed, obviously, before he goes on for the second show at Peoria. How was the first audience? I understand it was super big.
Oh, they were great. I wish the show was as good as the audience. But they only give us 35 minutes, and the last time I did 35 minutes was, I don't know when it was. It takes me 35 minutes to tune my guitar.
Obviously, you're doing Who is the Man Who Put the Line in Gasoline, aren't you?
Yeah, but I forgot to do that tonight. See, every time I change my show, it breaks up my timing. And my brain goes to lunch.
How does that story go?
I forgot to do it.
If you work for a very big crowd, sometimes the delay can throw your timing all off, too, right?
Yeah, but that's not the case here. You know, the place is really, it's good for sound. We haven't worked. I've been doing some pictures and things, and we haven't been working much, and your timing gets a little rusty, and your brain goes to sleep, and your choke glands start taking a hold, and sometimes I get up there and I'm dumber than a box of rocks, you know.
He's a good entertainer. Don't let him kid you. This new, I don't know, but I guess it's relatively new. I'm trying to think. You and Burt Reynolds have made an awful lot of pictures together. This, the latest thing that's out. Can you tell us about it?
Oh, last thing we did was Smokey and the Bandit. We're fixing to do Smokey and the Bandit 2, Ken, in October. Should air, I say air, listen to that, that's record talk. It should go to the theaters by, next summer sometime, I think.
In all seriousness, when you mention the fact that when you're doing pictures, you really don't have any control over timing at all. The editor finally decides where you're going to say that line and when. When you work in front of a live audience, you get much more of a feel of how well your comedy's going over, don't you?
Yeah, normally we just have a great time. We had a great time tonight. It's just that the finer points of the show, the guys in the band, we're all talking about it, how rusty we are because we haven't picked in so long. But the folks, most of them don't pick it up, Kim.
And in fact, country singers always go well over at fairs. You just feel at home here, don't you?
Oh, yeah, this is my kind of business. I'd rather do fairs than anything, really. It's, you go out and you work 35 minutes. That part I don't like. I'd rather work an hour or an hour and 10 or 15 minutes if I had my druthers, because 35 minutes doesn't give you long enough to do anything, Kenneth.
Jerry, I know when Roy Clark was here, we talked a little bit about his musical training and that kind of thing. How long have you been playing, and how did you get your start in music?
Oh, I've been playing ever since Hitler was a corporal, Ken. And I got mine listening to records, hanging out in juke joints, beer joints, anywhere I could find a guitar player that'd show me something to pick. That's about the way I got started. And putting that needle back on them records, trying to ape them licks that Chet Atkins put on, and Merle Travis and people like that.
Where's home for you?
Georgia. I'm from Atlanta.
How would you describe the character, Jerry Reed? I mean, are you concerned about your image and how you come across? A little rough, maybe, perhaps?
Well, as long as I feel like I'm just one of them, I'm okay. You know, as long as they don't think of me as anything other than a dude that plays guitar and cuts up, that's all that matters.
I was going to say, people who like truck drivers would obviously like Jerry Reed, but I think you have a wide appeal. I think you're appealing to city people and country folks alike.
Well, you know, all us folks in this country about alike. I've traveled all over. They might talk a little different in different regions, but basically they all like the same thing, and that's honesty, and don't mess with their heads and just be honest with them. And that's all we try to do. I think you make a mistake in this business trying to project something you're not. So if you're careful not to do that, you're usually all right. They're too, fans today are too smart, they're too knowledgeable to put up with junk like that anyway. You know.
What's the hardest thing about show business for you? Or is there anything hard?
Oh, the whole business is hard. The easiest thing you do is get up on the stage. Everything else is hard. The traveling, the diet, sleeping habits all go to hell in a handbasket, you know. But still, you wouldn't trade it. I wouldn't trade it for anything, because it's all I know. I'd have to bootleg if I got out of this, Ken.
Jerry, thank you much. I know you have to go on and entertain. I won't take any more of your time, but it was a pleasure to meet you.
Well, it was a pleasure to meet you, Ken. Thanks for stopping by.